welcome to my channel. Today's video is something really special to me because I finally got my hands on a set of jelly wash, which is something I have been wanting for the longest time. These aren't super easy to find here in my country. They are not very common, so I was really excited when I discovered that a local store had the Miya/Himi sets, and I just had to get one. So in this video I will be sharing my first impressions and thoughts, and I will be painting something with them at the end as well. I decided to buy the 24 set of the Himi jelly wash in this pretty mint green color, which is my absolute favorite. The case is a very sturdy plastic, and inside you will find a white mixing palette and these super cute cups of 30 milliliters of paint. This set in particular also comes with 3 synthetic brushes that matches the color of the case, which I think is just gorgeous. I wasn't sure how the colors were set, so before opening the cups I made sure to rearrange and organize them by tone, and also based on my preferences to help my workflow feel more natural. Opening the cups was the most fun part for me, and overall it was very easy. I only struggled with a couple of them, which curiously were the first ones, and the rest was very straightforward. It's a messy process, I guess, but it's so much fun. I absolutely love the cute jelly cup designs and the fact that each cup contains a lot of paint. That was the first reason why I wanted to try them out. It's a bit painful seeing the excess of paint stuck on the lid, I know. I really didn't want to waste any paint, but at the same time I didn't want to rub it to the border of the cup, because that way I was going to start making a mess and getting all dirty. And I know that will be happening sooner or later, but I definitely didn't want it to happen right after I open it. So I decided to leave the lids aside and use them to swatch out the colors later. I was quite impressed seeing how vibrant the colors are, and the consistency seemed really nice and very creamy. Once I opened them all, I noticed I still wasn't completely happy with the color arrangement I did, so I moved the cups around a little more until I was satisfied. Then I moved on into creating a swatch sheet. This is the first thing I do whenever I get a new art supply, especially with wash, watercolors, and markers. It's important to see how the colors look on paper once they dry, and having this color guide definitely gives me more control and lets me choose my colors more confidently and wisely when working. I added a thick black line as well to see the opacity of each color. I noticed straight away that the paint on the little lids was almost dried out completely, and that freaked me out because I didn't think that will happen so fast in like 15 minutes. So at one point I just gave up and started picking up paint from the cups directly. For my color swatches, I always like to start with the pure pigment, and then I add a little bit of water to dilute it and create some kind of gradient. This color arrangement was still not on point for me. As you can see, there's a lost blue between the browns and the black that shouldn't be there, and that's because the paint on that cup looks so dark it was impossible to distinguish it was actually a tone of blue. And it pissed me off honestly, but I decided to leave it like that. I love the large variety of colors of this set. The paint dries out with a beautiful matte effect, but still looking incredibly vibrant. I received many questions on Instagram asking what's the difference between jelly wash and regular wash, And although I'm not an expert at all on this subject, I haven't really noticed major differences compared to the previous wash I used, which was the Winsor & Newton designer. I'm sure someone with more experience on this medium will notice some differences or can mention the pros and cons perhaps, but I personally can't. I'm very happy with them. I'm impressed by the quality and how easy they are to use. It's important to mention that this particular gouache and the Winsor & Newton ones can be activated with water, contrary to the acrylic gouache, which once it dries out, it can't be reactivated at all. I'm still trying to learn how to use acrylic gouache, by the way. I think it's another very interesting medium, but I discovered that I just prefer more the gouache that can be reactivated, mostly because it makes me feel less anxious when mixing colors, knowing that I am not wasting away any paint and that everything can be reused. Here I am painting some landscape studies from Ponyo. I know there's this trend of trying out your jelly wash for the first time by doing a Ghibli themed painting, and it seemed very fun, so I decided to give it a go. Another reason why I wanted to get this set was because there's something very unique on having all the colors in front of you ready to grab. I love the feeling of experimenting more easily and having a lot of fun while doing it. So I think I bought it with the hope that it will let me be more playful and experimental, and since I'm a very impatient artist who don't plan anything ahead too much, I was also hoping that having all these open cups of paint in front of me will help me with this side of me and my workflow, which is always very chaotic and unpredictable. So I don't know, it feels like it was something I needed to try to become faster, but also more bold and accurate with my decisions, if that makes sense. And after a couple of weeks of using these paints, I can happily say that so far they are working for me the way I wanted them to work. I have been doing more studies, going out my comfort zone, and learning to mix and create new colors. They are indeed fun and very easy to use. The only thing that worried me since the beginning was if the paint started to dry out. I heard that the case design wasn't really good to preserve the paint, and that worried me because even though they can be reactivated with water, I desperately want to keep the creamy consistency they have. So far, it wasn't that hard to keep them nice, to be honest. I thought it was going to be more troublesome, but I noticed the most problematic part is only when I am using them, because the lid is open and that's when the surface layer of the paint starts to dry out more quickly. But as soon as you spray them with water and put the lid on, they go back to look fresh and creamy in just a couple of hours. So contrary of what I heard, I think the lid is actually pretty good and does a great job sealing the container and keeping the cups nice and safe. Here I am doing a second study, continuing with the sea landscapes from Ponyo. I love painting water and vegetation, that's why I think I became more comfortable mixing together lots of blues, greens and yellows. But I think for my next study, I really want to go for a warmer palette, maybe with more pinks, oranges, and purples, since those are some colors I don't use much often for some reason. I almost forgot to talk about this set of brushes that came with this wash. I wasn't expecting to like them as much as I did, but I have never been very picky with my brushes, to be honest. If they feel soft and nice and they are synthetic, of course, I'm perfectly good with them. But in this case, I love them so much, not sure if it was because my excitement over the jelly wash wasn't allowing me to think objective, or if it was the pretty green color of the handles, but I somehow ended up buying this separate set of 5 Himi brushes to add to my collection. I haven't got them yet, but I guess at some point I will let you know my thoughts on them. I recently discovered that colored pencils work beautifully on top of gouache, so later in the video you will see me add some details and defining some areas a bit more with Prisma color pencils. And yeah, I think this is all I have to say of the Miya Himi Jelly Wash for now. I really can't recommend this set enough, especially if you want to try this medium for the first time. I think there's no better option than this, but that's my opinion. It's very affordable as well. For me, it wasn't that budget friendly because it's normal that things always tend to cost much more than the real price here in my country, unfortunately. But if you have the possibility of purchasing one from Amazon or from the Miya/Himi website, I think this 24 set costs only 25 bucks, which I think sounds pretty good for what you get. I definitely think it was worth my money. But anyways, I will leave you now with the rest of the speed paint. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want. And if you didn't like it, please let me know in the comments why. Take care everyone and see you next time.